So, I'd like to welcome back Marianne. We're going to take a bit of a trial run on this. Figured since she's such a fan of the sleazy side of horror, we would try discussing some and figure what better way to start off talking about sleazy, trashy movies than with a movie that's way sleazier than I remember as a child, which, yeah, this. But yes, thank you for coming back. Thank you for agreeing to discuss this art.
Thank you for having me back. It is art. It's a form of art.
Yes, yes. Um, yeah, like I said, I realized I've only watched this one other time. This was as a child, and to me, it was bright colors and a lot of weird stuff happening. Now seeing it as an adult, I'm surprised it got made because I feel like that's on the harder end of sleazy, even for the 80s.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you there. The first time I watched it, I was very young, and I probably, like a lot of it, probably went over my head. And then I watched it, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe last year. I think I fell asleep, not by virtue of the movie being bad. I think I was just really tired. And I rewatched it a few days ago, when I knew we were going to be talking about it. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I thought, oh my God, at 14, I should not have been watching this.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of our generation is that we were able to watch. If we weren't out doing this stuff, our parents didn't care. But watching it, yeah, it's all make believe. Just enjoy. Just leave me alone.
Exactly.
One thing I did learn this time around that the director, J. Michael Muro,
Yeah.
have you heard anything about him?
No, I haven't. Oh my God, do I want to know?
I mean, you would be ecstatic. I could say just looking at your framing here on your camera, you would be and somewhat off a previous conversation we had. So
Yes.
this is one of like a half dozen movies he directed. Apparently, he's more of a camera guy. So he's been director of photography. He's done Steadicam work. Basically, he's held a lot of cameras for movies. And yeah,
Okay.
I unfortunately I got to go to my notes here because I'm not going to go through all of them, but there was definitely a ton. Apparently, he was a friend of James Cameron. Apparently, they hung out a little bit, so he worked the cameras for Terminator 2 and Titanic.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
let's see, Maniac Cop. Apparently, he also
Hmm.
did some camera work on his own movie that we are discussing. Let's see, Field of Dreams.
No idea.
What's that?
I had no idea.
Yeah,
That's
it was like okay, I figured it's just another not no name, but somebody who lived in the 80s. And if you don't hear about him every day, then chances are that was it. But no, he's even got a couple projects coming out. He also did a movie in '89 called I'm sorry, this is like a foreign language for me. Jason Takes Manhattan. He did the camera work for
no
that.
way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. I didn't
Uh,
know that.
Young
Hmm.
Young Guns 2, The Doors, Point Break, JFK,
You're
and
naming like all these great movies. Let me stop you right there. Nothing is going to impress me more than Jason Takes Manhattan.
I was going to hold off on that one for a little longer, but yeah,
Like,
figure I'd
there's
get that.
nothing you can say that's going to top that.
Yeah, but he did Titanic.
I don't give a shit.
So yeah,
I
I
mean, I
was
enjoy Titanic, but
I was listening to somebody else talking about it, just sometimes getting other people's perspective and all. And that's when they mentioned like, yeah, he only directed a few things, but then he went on to do a ton of camera work. And they mentioned a
mm,
few, so I went and looked it up, and yeah, when I saw Jason 8, I figured, yeah, I guess we picked the right movie for the night.
that's
So
pretty awesome.
I'm just blown away by all that. So. I had to go with the internet to pull up the synopsis of this because now rewatching it, I feel like I watched an anthology because it was like 12 different stories going on.
Yeah, it
But
does kind of feel like that a little bit.
yeah, but the it seems like the most common one is a tainted alcohol makes people physically dissolve into goo upon consumption,
Pretty
which
concise.
that that happens. Um, again, going by memory, I felt like there was more of that going on. I didn't realize it's maybe a half hour bookending the movie and then like an hour of filler in between.
Yeah, kind of
Uh,
feels like that.
I was going to say about an hour of soap opera, but I don't think I've ever seen a soap opera where some of this stuff happened.
Yeah, like
But
between the mob guy and the guy like the I guess the street trash. I guess that's what they're called, the guys that live in the auto yard.
yeah,
And
which
then this fat guy that's just walking around the entire movie being wholly inappropriate and even
yeah,
has sex with a dead body.
uh, uh,
Like there's just
yeah,
so much going on.
which turn it on because again, the last time I watched it, I didn't know what the hell a trauma was. Now seeing it, the first thing that came to mind, I'm like, these are the same streets that they shot trauma movies. It had to be. This
Yep.
probably is a trauma movie. So, of course, I had to Google it, and it said no. Despite all the similarities, it's definitely done in their style, but no, they have no affiliation with it. But the guy in question that you were mentioning, I think I might even wrote his name down. Oh, Pat Ryan, who played the junkyard boss.
Yeah.
Uh, he was the sleazy mayor in Toxic Avenger.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I can see that.
and yeah, who'd have thought they could have gave him a worse character than he was in Toxie? So
I mean, I didn't hate him in this movie. He has a really cool knife made of human femurs.
yeah,
I want that
yeah,
knife.
yeah, but yeah, Bronson was he
But
was
he was a
he was
prick.
angry. He was angry.
No, no, he was such a prick. And like the scene where him and his girlfriend are making out and they're just both filthy, dirty. I was fighting the urge to vomit in my own mouth. It's so disgusting.
So
Like,
it outsleezed you.
but I mean,
You're
I love nude scenes and I love sex scenes as much as anybody, but no, when people are dirty and they're licking each other, I can't. My stomach's turning now just thinking about it. No, that was rough.
so so
Watching
you
the two of them.
so you've never had a significant other where both of you come home from work just completely dirty and just couldn't help yourselves?
It depends. Okay, yes, it has happened, but like it depends on the kind of dirt. These two people are literally living in a fucking dump. The girlfriend, she looks like she's wearing a diaper, and when she kind of leans over him, it looks like it's a full diaper, and they're all dirt. Like, no, it's different. It's so different. It's gross. It's garbage.
But if you're both marinating in it, yeah, I'm trying my best to justify this. If you're both marinating, doesn't it cancel out? If you both
Okay,
smell like a dumpster, then nobody
sure,
smells
it
like a
cancels
dumpster.
out, but like I still wouldn't in a million years. It's so disgusting.
Nah,
At
I
one point,
agree.
he's like licking her arm, and her arm is like black. Not sexy. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. It's mhm. And then speaking of like being a real prick, the whole scene with Bronson with where he rips the guy's dick off, and they decide to play a little football with him.
Monkey in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. I went to football because I'm upset how many people don't remember Monkey in the Middle. I didn't realize that was a generational thing.
I feel like it was. It's funny just watching them kind of toss his dick around the yard and he's just trying to get it back. Poor
Uh,
guy.
speaking where you draw your line, yeah. I I mean, yes, I feel like one would definitely do everything it took to get it back, but I'm pretty sure I would have probably passed out from the blood loss at that point.
I mean, I kind of feel like it, but I mean, he obviously wanted it back real bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And he got it back in the end.
That's
So he
just
won.
let's just hope he got it fully back though. Or is it now just like did he end up taking it to a taxidermist and
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm sure he's fine.
so you remember the Bobbits from back in the day?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. So I get
Lorena and I forget the husband's name, but yeah.
John Wayne.
Yeah, John Wayne Bobbitt, that's true. And he
Because
became
I
like a porn star after
yes,
she cut his dick off.
and I did rent that because I'm sick like that. The morbid curiosity won the best of it. Me and a half dozen friends each pitched in 50 cents
That's fair.
and went and rented it for a weekend and we only watched it once.
I
No
hear it
funny
was never
business
that
with it.
good.
It I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, it was like, all right,
I think
it's
it was
like
like the novelty of it that drew people to watch it.
yeah. Same thing for the Pam Anderson Tommy Lee video. Like
Yep,
everybody was talking about it. Yeah, I didn't really care to watch it. It was like, it's kind of boring.
yeah,
Most of it was them talking about how much they love each other, which, is probably why they're still together now.
they're not.
So what would you say of all the street trash? Who was your favorite of the group? All right,
I guess I would say the Vietnamese girl. I forget her name. I'm terrible with names.
the one that worked at the junkyard.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, she probably was the most normal of everyone there.
I mean,
I don't
I
know.
enjoyed the back and forth between the doorman, um, and
Oh,
the mobster guy.
yeah,
The doorman who was in Frankenhooker. I
yes,
recognized him.
yeah, because when I saw him on there, it was like, yeah, it looks so familiar.
Yeah,
And then I realized it was knockoff Andrew McCarthy.
James Lawrence.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he was great. And I mean, we're jumping all over the place, so fuck it.
Yeah, no,
Go.
that was fun. That was
I
probably my favorite part. Was with
I
him.
I probably because most people think, MCU, that's where you got the credit scenes, which I know some existed before that, but how you got that mid-credit scene, I'm assuming you got that. It was like what, 30 seconds into the final credits, and then they go back to the two of them.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was gonna say it's so short
It
into
took
the
me a
credit.
minute.
Yeah, but he's got him tied to the chair. I think he was tied down. But either way, they had him in the
Yeah, he had
chair.
him tied up with rope and he was gonna kill him, and
He's like, "Hey, we're
then
gonna
he
do
took a sip of the Viper, and
that." That was
that was it.
probably it sucks that they held off till the end, but that was definitely my favorite part of the movie. Just his reaction as he's melting. You don't see any of it. And then oh yeah, and when he's like flipping out, and yeah, like you hear him melting, you hear him suffering and all, and he's like, "Kiss my prick," and he's like, kiss your prick." It's dripping down the
I'm like,
stairs.
yep, oh my God.
But yeah, just the fact that like
As sleazy as that movie is, like they couldn't have shown that to us. I would have enjoyed watching
yeah,
watching that. The effects were really good. The practical effects were amazing.
yes, and yeah, and that's definitely the one thing of the movie that held up for me since childhood was the whole, the colorful deaths.
Yeah,
Because
the yellow and the green.
yeah, I feel like if they went like full trauma with just the, spaghetti sauce looking blood, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all that, but the fact that they made it all almost like Evil Dead 2, how like
Yeah,
all the
that's
blood,
true.
and with each one, the color of the blood was just a little different. So that was the most beautiful part of it.
No,
But
it was nice. I like that. Like it was just something different,
yeah,
and it just reeks of the '80s. I love it.
yeah.
It's so campy.
And like I said, like the whole, like I just remember there being a lot more of that, or maybe that's the only part that I understood enough as a kid that it stood out because I don't remember any of that shit in the middle.
No, but like again, I think a lot of it went over my head. Like um, when the mobster's girlfriend goes back to the junkyard and gets in the back seat with this like dirty homeless guy, and what does he say to her? Or she asks for 69, and he's like, "How about 68, and I'll owe
Yeah,
you
yeah.
cringe." Oh
How
my
about,
God.
you
And
know,
I don't remember that as a kid. I don't remember it being that raunchy. Of
and then like when that started, I kind of remember, or maybe I just assumed that, oh, well, of course, there's a sex scene in an 80s horror movie. But
course.
the when he was done and the rest of the gang, that I don't remember at all. The whole when everyone else from the gutter there took turns with
Okay.
her. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Uh
That's
yeah, that was and they didn't show it, but they showed enough for you to know what was about to happen that even I was like, ooh, that's harsh. And I love it. I spit on your grave. But something about this, I think because they were playing for so many laughs, I guess it just felt out of place.
yeah, like I Spit on Your Grave has a specific tone.
Yeah.
This just felt, yeah, like there was a lot of, well, I want to say there was a lot about this movie that was very rapey, but there's actual like rape scene or gang rape scene, and then this guy, what is it? I forget his name, the big guy,
Yeah.
finds her body on the beach, and then he has a go at her after she's dead. Like
Yeah, you would think raping and killing her, it's like, all right,
it
well,
doesn't
that's
match the tone of the rest of the movie, and it did bring me out of it for a minute. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, and then she goes through that. You see the body, and it's like, yeah, that she just experienced the worst thing that could happen. But wait, there's more.
Yeah. And that scene kind of bothered me because they again they presented it in a comedic way. And yeah, like I don't know.
See, now I could kind of see him, the shop owner, when he found her. I was going to say when he came across her, but that's a little too on the nose.
Oh my
Um,
God.
that for some reason in that context did come off a little more funny than
I-
the entire slum taking a shot at her. Like just the whole implication, like
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
I agree. I mean, there are so many things they could do. Like yeah, the rest of the movie was so silly, and it just
mhm.
it completely changed the tone. And it's like, and I guess it's a product of its time. But even in other horror movies, even in the sleaziest horror movies, I don't ever recall seeing anything like that. It's just so weird. It was weird a little bit. Not
I'd
gonna
say
lie.
overall did a decent job at walking the line, but definitely wobbled a little bit on there. Definitely
Yeah,
tiptoed a little on either side of it, but and just the whole thing in the beginning where I think yes, I love when I actually take notes. So the guy Fred, the lead bum,
yeah,
I guess the protagonist of the bums, sorry,
yeah,
hobos. Um, the whole beginning where he steals the money and you see it like during the opening credits, it's just him running around the
yeah,
city and all. And then he gets into that apartment building and like everybody's like naked and or fucking. Like
yeah.
I want to see the backstory on that apartment building because everyone he ran into in there was just naked. And then they all run out and you just got like 50 naked people running out of the building.
See, that's funny. That would have been yeah, that would have been better than some of. Like I
Yeah.
said, on the whole, like I do enjoy the movie. It's I remember like for the most part, I remember what it is, and then there's maybe just like four or five scenes, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember it like this. But like for the rest of it, honestly, I think I gave it 3 stars, which is not a bad rating for me. But like, it's not really. It might be the trashiest of the trash. It's not the best of the trash
Oh, no.
for me
Now wait,
personally.
are you saying 2 out of 5 or 10?
3 out of 5.
I feel like I would go, yeah, about the same, like right in the middle. Maybe if we're doing out of 5, then actually no, I'd probably be more like a 2.5, like slightly above average. I mean, it's entertaining, but yeah, it
It's not
just
something I'm gonna go back to often. Like it's not a comfort movie.
yeah, it's probably going
It's
to be about
funny.
an probably be another 30 years before I watch. Well, maybe not 30 years because I'll be long gone by then. But but to go back to the whole like favorites of it all, what about Bert, the black guy
Okay, so that's actually
of the
the other
hobo
scene that I
crew?
really, really liked was when he went to the grocery store
Yes.
and he's putting food into his pants and he was grabbing chicken from the meat counter and then he gets like confronted by a store employee and then he ends up like running down the street and as he's running down the street, just drumsticks of raw chicken just coming out of the
Now
bottom of his pants as he runs. Like that was so funny.
that was gross in the most delightful way.
Yeah, like I was cringing watching him put raw chicken in his pants, but like that's the good kind of cringe. It's just like
But the only
he's
thing I
just
don't
gonna go home
get,
and cook it.
but I don't understand because didn't wasn't he putting the packages down his pants?
It was packages. I don't know what happened,
So
but
what
because
the
when he's running
hell?
away, it's just chicken thighs coming out and chicken
Yeah, what's going
drumstick.
on
Well,
in
he
those
saw it.
pants that it's opening the packages? Because
I don't know.
tell you
But
what, I can't even pop half the times I can't even pop that open with my hands.
like
I
we're
gotta
we're
jab
we're,
it with a knife to get it going.
we're not gonna justify eating crotch chicken because it's wrapped in plastic. It's disgusting either way.
It's seasoned.
Like no.
Seasoned. We're going back to the love scene earlier on. Yes, it's all seasoning. Another standout thing that really cracked, and it was such a nothing thing, but the second guy to go, he was up on the fire escape.
Yeah.
So he goes, takes a sip, and he's just melting all over the street. And the cat was there. And I swear, like, if one doesn't exist, I'm just gonna start my own meme with that cat because that cat threw him a look as he's falling apart. Like he wasn't having any of it. The cat just had this, really, dude, really. Like
Yep.
you could almost see his thoughts in the face he was given. Yeah,
No,
it's
that
just
was a
a,
good one. I mean, like they were all good. like the effects were pretty impressive considering I know like what the budget was. I think I was like $30,000 I read somewhere. I
Um,
could be wrong,
I
but for
listen.
for what they did for the money they spent, like it came out really well, I think.
Well, it did. They definitely didn't put it into a script, but
No.
um, but yeah, the effects were definitely. It says estimated 500,000.
Oh, okay. I was way
So,
off then.
so well, for later 80s, I would have assumed over a mil for what they did. So
Yeah.
you win Price is Right rules.
Oh God.
You were off, but you were closer without going over. Uh, but that's I think my biggest gripe with it though is yeah, I made the joke earlier about a soap opera. It almost came off like that. Like you're following like 12 different stories all within the same thing.
Yeah, it jumped around a little bit. I got a bit of whiplash from that, but in the
Yeah,
end I kind of understood how it all came together. I mean I think it was a little bit rough getting there, but
yeah. Like the whole thing with the cop, I just don't think was necessary.
I mean it was another
But
body.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But they didn't even take him out in a good way. Just like, oh, I'm gonna choke you. I swear to God, I swore he wasn't dead.
Well, he got
Um,
stabbed with the femur knife, at
oh, did
least.
he?
Yeah, in the back.
Okay. I know he got choked and he got pissed on. I must have missed his stabbing.
Yeah, with
Hmm.
the infamous knife made out of femurs, the one that I
Yes.
want. But yeah, he got stabbed in the back with it. But before he got choked. But then yeah, he ended up getting choked to death. Yeah, that's it's
Yeah.
kind of lame.
And even him, like you figure at least the cop would be a remotely decent person. Like there, other than like you were saying, the Asian girl, like she's the only one remotely redeemable. Well, not even redeemable because she wasn't really that bad of a person. Everyone else was a piece of shit in that movie.
Like, well, that's it. And also, I will say, I mean, I do kind of have the memory of a goldfish in many ways, but the fact that I watched this movie was it two? No, it was yesterday I watched it, and I can't remember any of the characters' names. Like,
The only
kind of
reason,
reflects poorly on the movie. Like, kind of says it all.
well, because
You
there's,
know,
but I think that goes back to like there was like 52 people you're following in the movie, and they don't flesh out any one character enough to like remember. Like the only reason I have any of the names was I would pause, go back. All right, wait, did they say this person? Okay, and then I wrote it down. No, I didn't remember any of them.
no, that's it for me. It's like the fat guy, the Vietnamese lady,
Yeah,
the dirty couple. Like, I don't.
the dirty
It was
couple,
not.
the fat boss, the mobster guy, the doorman.
That's it. Like, it's not the worst way to spend an hour and 45 minutes or 47, I think to be exact, but it's not what I qualify like I wouldn't call it it's not memorable, clearly.
There's moments that are, but yeah, characters.
Yeah,
Other than like again, I turned off the note page there, so I already forgot his name. It started with a
same.
B. But again, like the black guy living with them. Like he had one of the few
Bert.
memorable moments in there because, like you said, he had raw, half torn apart chicken falling out of his drawers.
It was funny at least.
Yeah. And actually Bronson, the the PTSD, I guess the mob boss of the gutter. I only remember that because that was one, at least they said his name like 50 times throughout the movie.
No, like that's it. I there's a
Other than,
couple.
yeah, other than
The
that,
rest
it's
I don't know. And I don't care. Like you said, they give you there's so many characters and they don't give you time enough with each of them for you to care. And that's what it is at the end. Like I don't care. There's some cool effects, some funny jokes.
it's like one of those how they say, oh, it's about the journey, not the destination. I would say
No,
this movie qualifies for that. Like you watch it, you enjoy it for what it is, but at the end, it's uh, like I watched again yesterday, and I'm forgetting the same shit you are. So it's like there were some key
all right. Well, I don't
moments.
feel so bad then.
Yeah. Now, yeah, granted, I'm old and senile, so but I don't think
Please.
I'd be curious. Actually, JC on the show loves this movie. I'm gonna have to quiz him on character names on that. If he don't know it, because he retains a lot of names. So yeah, I might have to give him a pop quiz. If he don't remember the names, then we know it's definitely the movie. not just our
I feel like
brains.
as I get older, I just get worse with that.
Oh, yeah.
I have like pockets of information,
Our hard
and
drives were full a long time ago.
the only
Now,
thing that remains a constant is like all the Friday information. Everything else kind of comes and goes in waves.
yeah, oh, I'm trying to remember the comedian. I'll look it up, but yeah, there's a comedian that had a bit like that, saying how you have limited memory, almost like a hard drive. And then once your brain maxes out, like they say, at least with a computer, you could pick and choose which stuff you get rid of. No, your brain's on autopilot and will get rid of all the necessary things you need to know while retaining the what was his name? Jeff Tate.
Okay.
Not the guy from Queensryche, but there's a comedian named
Yes,
Jeff
I know.
Tate. Funny as hell. But yeah, he's like, I don't remember where I parked my car 5 minutes ago, but I could tell you exactly when and where I watched Wayne's World 2.
See, I feel that. I feel that.
I
But
never heard,
sometimes it's the complete reverse. Like it really does depend on the day.
yeah, except for Jason. Jason's everything.
Yes, that stays. But everything else, it's kind of. But usually after I watch a movie, like I'm pretty good. It's. I have to say, like this movie should win an award because it's very rare that I can like in less than 24 hours remember absolutely nothing other than oh, there was a bottle of Viper and a lot of people melted.
And lots of sex. Some of it was consensual.
Yeah,
Yeah,
boobs. There was boobs at least.
sort of. Some of those even may have melted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the melting boobs. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that.
So what would you prefer in a horror movie? Just straight up boobs or boobs being
And
involved with a murder?
boobs and blood. I mean, that's why the Friday franchise is my favorite. I get a consistent amount of both.
Except for the
I
midway
mean,
point,
well,
you
yeah,
know,
okay. There's no
somewhere around
boobs
the
in part
sixth
six,
one.
but okay, but you make up for it in part five because you got a lot of boobs in part five.
Is that what it
And I
was?
know,
McLaughlin decided, he put in it. Danny put in enough to tie us over a couple movies.
well, that's it. And like of all the big franchises, like so you do have some nudity in Halloween, not much. You have no nudity in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You got a little bit of nudity in Nightmare on Elm Street, not too much either. Like
I'm trying to.
Friday is the sleazy franchise, and I don't say that in a derogatory way. Like,
Have you watched the August Underground movies?
so no.
Okay,
One
I
of my
I
friends, one of my close friends online recommended it to me, and I added it to a list. I tried to find it, I couldn't find it, and then I think he kind of messaged me something along the lines of, "Okay, well, it's better you don't watch it. Like, it's going to traumatize you." I'm like, thank you for recommending that. Awesome.
if if your boobs and blood are the bulk of your is going to make something good, this could be your favorite franchise ever. Sorry, not
Okay,
franchise, your favorite trilogy ever. However, the
so
context of boobs and blood, hmm,
that's the problem. It's the context. So maybe I shouldn't just say boobs and blood, and I should add like no, but it needs to be like a light, fun movie. That I mean,
like Trent.
typical 80s movie. Like that's what
Yeah,
Friday the 13th is. It's fun.
yeah.
Same for like the Halloween franchise. I like all that stuff. It's nothing, you don't have to think too hard about anything. It's just a good time. And all of it is consensual. Everybody's having fun. And I don't get kind of like pulled into these moments of the movie where I'm kind of like cringing or rolling my eyes.
Hmm.
It's
No, I get it.
typical 80s horror,
I'm mostly
80s
fucking with
boobs and
you.
blood. I can watch a bleak movie, which just sounds like what you're kind of describing. I can watch that, but I have to be in the mood. Like I can't just throw that on any day.
No,
And
it's
it depends on how bleak. Like
it,
I watched The Dark and the Wicked last year. Great movie. But when it was over, I felt like a piece of my soul was gone. Like it was just it's so heavy and like don't for me personally, I guess I get enough of that in real life. I don't watch horror to kind of compound that feeling. I watch horror movies that kind of lift me up and yeah, it's the We had this conversation recently. This is why part three, Friday the 13th, part three is my least favorite. Like they touched on
Yeah.
the subject of sexual assault, or that, sorry, it's implied.
Hmm.
That's not what I'm here for. Like this is, sir, this is a Wendy's. Get that shit out of my movie. I hate that so much.
Which is funny because, again, as a kid watching that one, I always took it as he
He
attacked her.
attacked her.
And then she said how she passed out. So figured maybe someone came and distracted Jason or at least knocked him down enough. Like, it wasn't until probably my 30s till I watched that movie and was like, wait, are they saying that he may have. Wait. And then, with the internet and all, and people saying, like, oh, yeah, that's totally what they were going for. Like, that kind of blew me away. Now it seems so obvious that's what they were going with. But I remember for
It's
many years, like, it was like, oh, no, he was getting ready to kill her and something happened, but she blacked out to find out what
it's a,
happened to her.
yeah. It's weird. When I was younger, part three was my favorite, and I rewatched it a lot, and it never caught on. And I only realized when I watched the documentary, Crystal Lake Memories, and they talk about
Mhm.
it in the segment. And when I rewatched it, literally, I think the first time I watched the documentary, the second was over, I put part three on. And yeah, like you said, it's so obvious. Like it's only implied, but the signs are there, and it has no place in a movie like that. Like I don't know, it's supposed to be fun, and I guess the reaction to these kind of topics was probably very different in the 80s. I don't know.
Yeah.
It it has
I mean,
it
it
has
popped
its
up
place
every
in
now and
some
then.
movies.
Yeah.
Like you said, I spit on your grave. Like that makes sense.
Because my go-to is, again, for her to go through all that in a movie, it makes the third act of that movie that much more rewarding. Like, in case you had any
Exactly.
doubts, like, did she go over the top? No, she was like, was it the tagline or was it just something they threw on some of the posters where they list like she killed 4 or 5 men and did
Yep.
this and did that, and not a judge in the world will ever convict her. Like, yeah, they make sure there's no gray area in what she did. Like, if
No.
anything, and that's why I kind of like the remake of that a little better because it just felt like her revenge part of that was so much more brutal, so much more satisfying.
Well, yeah, and I like both of them, but I know what I'm getting into when I
Yeah,
watch a movie like that because
it's
you
the
know what it's
premise
about.
of it.
And when you see it in like a movie when you're not expecting it, it comes off almost like a bit of a jump scare,
Hmm.
different kind of jump scare. It's just like feels out of place. But like that's what I'm saying. If I'm in the mood and I know what I'm watching, you tell me like there's sexual assault scenes, rape scenes. When it feels like they're doing it in an exploitation way, it just for me it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
How did I not make this connection until now? You think it would have been more obvious at the time because between 2 and 3, Jason even shaved his head, so he kind of looked like a dick.
Yeah, that's true. He got a haircut. Somebody cut his hair.
That's I want to see that story as well. I want to see part 2.5 and see him go to the barber and all this other stuff.
Maybe he did it to himself. I mean, he
Maybe.
had to have done it to himself. Maybe he just went bald.
I still want to see a story of that though.
That'd be pretty. Part 2.5.
But you got to give 3 credit because at least you got Shelley. The
I know
Shelley
you don't
was
mean that. I know you don't mean that because you don't like him.
no, I do.
You do?
Nah,
Okay.
that was Kevin that said he hated him.
Oh,
Me, I
damn you,
related to
Kevin.
him way too hard. Like I remember even as a kid almost crying. Maybe not literally, but I did get very emotional. The whole, would you be yourself if you look like this? I was like, oh, that's me.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I
Uh,
love Shelley. He's precious.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I'm part of the minority crew on that one. I get that
but
he's
yeah,
annoying, but so am I. So
not annoying.
he was
He's
trying
trying to
too hard.
he's trying to get attention.
Yeah, he doesn't. He had, awkward. Doesn't have really good social skills, and was just trying to overcompensate by going over the top.
Well, that's
It's
it. And I feel like everybody can relate to that.
yeah. Uh, so yeah, street trash. So
Tangent.
if this is something we do continue to do and all, that's going to be the thing. How far into a review can we go before it becomes a Friday the 13th conversation? Because again, I am
With me,
easy.
it's gonna be really quick. I can turn it into a Friday the 13th conversation really quick.
I think we made it. I haven't been looking at the clock, but I feel like we made it at least a half hour before going there.
You could say a completely like innocuous word, and I will play 6 Degrees of Friday the 13th with you, like just something completely random, and I will find some stupid way to tie it into Friday the 13th. And this is what I'm told by my friends that I'm annoying, and I do that.
No, see, I do that all the time too. So not just with that, but the most random thing. Someone could say hello in a certain way, and it's like, oh my God, that reminds me of that one movie where that person said hello. But I'd have a very specific memory over something that had no connection. I don't know, but
No, that makes sense. I think we all have that.
only a few of us are super annoying about it. So it's like a superpower.
Well, that's it. For me, all roads lead back to Jason.
Yep. No, like I said,
Drives people crazy. I kind of like it. It's my superpower.
I get a kick out of it because, like, yeah, I don't know if I would say it's my all-time favorite franchise, but it's definitely
I would.
it's in my top five, maybe top three of all time.
It's my favorite of all time, in case anybody was wondering.
Oh,
I know. Shocked.
I'll keep that in mind for down the road. What's that one poster you have behind?
I would just like to take the moment to say fuck Jason Universe.
Yeah, but
Fuck Jason Universe.
they made an announcement. They didn't just tease an announcement. Ah,
I'm gonna stifle like the things that I want to say because they're quite vulgar. I feel rage. I like despise these people. They don't give two shits about Jason. He's got square eyes. He looks so corporate. I could vomit.
Jason sold out to the man.
He did. And I
Hmm.
don't like it.
All right. Well, we'll save more of these tangents for next time around. We're going to have to figure out what movie to do next. I think I'm going to give you a say. We'll take turns.
Sounds good.
Thank you all for listening, watching, whatever, however you consume this. But, and again, thank you for being part of this.
Thank you for
Because,
having me back.
yeah. So, like we said, you're just fun enough. Like, we could have her back a few times. At the very least, if we want to have some Jason talk, we're guaranteed a solid
I
hour
can always steer the
minimum.
conversation that direction.
And it just worked out. We kicked this off with a movie directed by a guy who worked on Manhattan.
I love it.
So, all right. Well, thank you again. We shall talk soon.
Sounds
And
good.
everyone out there in internet land, thanks for watching.
Broadcast completed.